The Turkish Prime Minister has called for calm in the wake of violent protests which have claimed more than 20 lives. Meantime, around Queensland's southeast, Brisbane reached 31 today. Clouds rolled in this afternoon across the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast, while Ipswich was a hot 35. Around the major cities tomorrow, clouds expected over Sydney, and today's heavy rainfall has not been the only worry for Los Angeles drivers. Judges say that new technologies do not necessarily equate to higher prices. Tragically, an Australian will take their life once every 3.5 hours. And what's more frightening than this is that a person will attempt suicide once every 8 years. It's hoped these discoveries will help paleontologists uncover the age-old mystery of how these prehistoric creatures became extinct. To enrol online as organ donors, following the release of results that the number of organ donations in Australia has decreased since 20. The ceasefire in Ukraine is under more pressure, with separatist fighters close to overrunning Donetsk airport. Police believe the jewellery found during the raids was used as a form of currency used to purchase the drugs. Currently, Leeds Student Union is the first student union to ban bottled water, and following these progressive green footsteps, the fund hopes to engage students who are unreached. Since Iron Lady, the Eiffel Tower has had a facelift. Segments of the first level floor have been replaced with solid glass. This week, the media erupted in a frenzy as a verdict in the Dr. Conrad Murray trial was finally announced. This past Monday, Michael Jackson fans cheered outside the criminal justice. This large sinkhole east of LAX is in urgent need of repair. According to the Department of Public Works, there is now slope erosion in 5 different locations along the road. Today's heavy rainfall has not been the only worry for Los Angeles drivers. This massive sinkhole behind us is another dangerous factor. The sinkhole has been here since December of last year. Authorities are yet to clean up the damage, citing a lack of funding as a reason why. Good evening, welcome to QT News.
Good evening.
A North Queensland woman is recovering in hospital after a remarkable survival story. 17 days ago, the Turkish Prime Minister has called for calm in the wake of violent protests which have claimed more than 20 lives. Meantime, US and British diplomats say they're willing to look at a safe haven along the border with Syria. The Nobel Prize for Chemistry has been awarded to 3 scientists who have helped revolutionise the microscope. It enables researchers to see the detailed workings of individual components inside cells. Good evening. It was hot and muggy across Brisbane today, but this could lead to the development of a few showers across the southeast. Australian stargazers will have the opportunity to witness around Queensland's southeast. Brisbane reached 31 today. Clouds rolled in this afternoon across the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast, while Ipswich was a hot 35. Around the major cities tomorrow, clouds expected over Sydney and Canberra. Melbourne will see the sun reaching 23, and Hobart and Perth can both expect some showers. Back in Queensland now, Mount Isa's hot run continues with 38 predicted for the second day in a row. Clouds during the day for both Townsville and Cairns. All 15 winners have the seal of approval from the RACQ. Nearly 350 cars were put through to the test, but judges say that new technologies do not necessarily equate to higher prices. The Kia Rio scored 10 out of 10 for being a great car that doesn't break a $20,000 budget. 2,200 people take their lives in Australia every year. 80% are male. The hidden cost a staggering $17 billion a year. That's the bill for treating the tens of thousands who have survived suicide attempts. Tragically, an Australian will take their life once every 3.5 hours. And what's more frightening than this is that a person will attempt suicide once every 8 minutes. The ceasefire in Ukraine is under more pressure, with separatist fighters close to overrunning Donetsk airport. More than 300 people have been killed in the region since the ceasefire came into force a month ago. French archaeologists have identified some of the oldest Neanderthal remains ever found. They say the 200,000-year-old bones will give a fresh insight. The trouble is that every conversation will be saved, and the issue of identity theft may be thrown into the mix. Taxi drivers already have access to passenger names, phone numbers and their home addresses, with further concerns that these new audio devices could breach fundamental civil liberties. Civil libertarians are suggesting the move will make no difference to driver safety.
We've seen no evidence that recording these...
And not surprisingly, they seized a number of other assets.
So far today, police have seized approximately $100,000 in cash, a variety of firearms and also an amount of jewellery.
Police believe the jewellery found during the raids was used as a form of currency used to purchase the drugs. Police have already arrested and charged 5 members from the outlaw Brisbane movement. These were some of the exciting new findings unveiled today as a result of the partnership between the mining giant and the Queensland Museum. It's hoped these discoveries will help paleontologists uncover the age-old mystery of how these prehistoric creatures became extinct. Personal information online, not uploading personal images and securing passwords. Facebook users could be next in line to enrol online as organ donors, following the release of results that the number of organ donations in Australia has decreased since 2011.
Engage students specifically in sustainability awareness around campus.
Currently, Leeds Student Union is the first student union to ban bottled water, and following these progressive green footsteps, the fund hopes to engage students who are unreached and teach them about the importance of sustainability. Thanks, Kane. France's Iron Lady, the Eiffel Tower, has had a facelift. Segments of the first level floor have been replaced with solid glass, giving visitors a different view to the city below.
The first floor was previously the least visited level, as most tourists were more interested in the view from the top.
We'll be back tomorrow night with more QUT news. Good night. The Leeds Student Union is once again full of glittery lights, Christmas trees and the occasional image of Santa Claus. Because you guessed it, it's that time of the year again. It's Christmas at Leeds University. This week marks the opening of the annual Christmas fair, the perfect place to pick up some gifts for your friends and family and say hi to this big guy over here. Good evening. Time to take a look at the weather. Sunny skies continued around the city today, with temperatures reaching a mild 24 degrees. Elsewhere around the southeast, it was fine and 23 on both the Sunshine and Gold Coasts. A cool low of 8 for Ipswich before reaching a top of 23 degrees.
QUT News.
Good evening. If river fire doesn't take your fancy this long weekend, there's no shortage of other activities. You can choose from music festivals, a roller derby, or a couple of pretty important footy matches. And still to come, not even rain could spoil the AFL Grand Final parade. The wait is over. Copies of J.K. Rowling's first adult fiction novel are hitting bookstores around the world. The Casual Vacancy is expected to be one of the biggest sellers this Christmas. Tuesday night with more QUT news. Enjoy your long weekend. Good night.
Good night.
This week, the media erupted in a frenzy as a verdict in the Dr. Conrad Murray trial was finally announced. This past Monday, Michael Jackson fans cheered outside the Criminal Justice Building in downtown Los Angeles as the guilty verdict was handed down to Jackson's former doctor. But the topic of great debate concerns his lean 2 to 4 year sentence. Murray was convicted of involuntary. Judge Past will analyse a range of factors before deciding how to convict Murray on November 29th. A major factor is whether he has a record of complaints with state medical boards. Presently, he has no disciplinary action against him prior Jackson's death. So, will this mean that he'll get the maximum 4-year jail time or a minimum probation period? Well, it will all be decided at the end of November. I'm Namrata Pingle. Back to you, Bella. Thanksgiving. It's known as a time for family gatherings, good food, and of course, lots and lots of shopping. Retail sales broke records during this past Thanksgiving Black Friday sales, injecting a much-needed boost into North America's long-suffering economy. Retailers are calling it the best holiday shopping season to date. Interestingly enough, online shopping became this year's #1 selling medium. Researchers saw an increase in popularity with online shopping as a Black consumer showed an indication of splurging rather than scrounging on cheap necessities. With the rise of internet retailing, we won't even have to leave the comforts of our homes to grab those cheap Black Friday sales. I'm Namrata Pingle. Who doesn't have one today? From your teachers, to your peers, to your boss. It seems to be taking over the world. But what are the consequences of Facebook? It's beginning to blur the lines between what is made public and what is made private. I'm Namrata Pingle, and today we'll be finding out how it's affecting college students. So, Professor Utley, generally speaking, how do you think Facebook affects the way people communicate?
Oh, it's completely changing the way we communicate. Instead of doing things face to face, many youth are becoming more comfortable just doing it online. So they're more comfortable at home, at their computers.
We're here at the Distinguished Speaker Series to speak with Dr. Robert Garcia and further our investigations about the effects of Facebook. Can you define what social media is and in taking Facebook into particular context?
Well, I mean, social media is basically a channel of communication that allows us to communicate in social setting.
Okay, so taking students into account, a lot of employers check students or potential employees' Facebooks. A lot of people get skeptical about what to put on, on their Facebooks. Do you think that's something that students should be concerned about now, how it will affect them in the future?
Absolutely. That's why there's privacy settings. You've got to make sure that your persona on Facebook is what you want everybody to see. As an employer, if you have an employee that you're looking at hiring, they're going to look you up. So you've got to be careful about what you put on that page.
Mark Zuckerberg invented Facebook with the objective of connecting Harvard students. And now it appears that it's taking over the world. It's become a social media giant. So it's up to you as a student to use it appropriately. This is Namrata Pingle signing off for College Beat Productions. On July 20th, 1969, humankind witnessed a historical moment as man first landed on the moon. 42 years later, we can see another major development as the human race prepares once again to return to the big glowing sphere in the night sky. It is expected that the first commercial venture to the moon will be in 2012. In preparation, Branson titled one terminal at the Las Cruces Space Center the Virgin Galactic Gateway to Space. And if the venture does actually happen, you may see a new look to travel. Branson hopes to make the first flight to the moon with his 2 adult children as soon as next year. I'm Namrata Pingle, back to you, Bella. Every semester, CSU LB students are given the opportunity to critique and to evaluate their professors. But how effective are these teacher evaluations? Do they really make a difference to teachers' learning styles, or are students just participating in a semi-annual ritual?
I don't think they changed my teaching style. What do you think?
More. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how to get them to necessarily write more, and if they're happy, then they're happy.
Students should take advantage of this rare opportunity to privately and personally critique their professors. Because at the end of the day, professors are willing to listen, but it's up to you to provide them with constructive criticism. This is Namrata Pingle signing off for College Beat Productions. Cell phones. They're the most significant communication devices that we possess. And their function has gone beyond mere conversational use. We use them for everything from social networking down to internet surfing. And in turn, we use them to disseminate our personal information. But have you ever thought about where this private information could end up? Well, now it's being auctioned off. On Tuesday, Verizon Wireless publicly announced that they are selling private information provided by subscribers. Information collected includes age, gender, location data. With the rise of smartphones, phone companies are receiving an accidental treasure trove of marketable data. We live in a technological era, and here in North America, we depend on our cell phones and our smartphones. But how much of our private information are we making public? With the advent of websites such as Facebook, where we are distributing our personal and private information willingly, has the concept of privacy completely disappeared? Well, let's hope not. If the treatment does work, humanity may see an end to food allergies. But this does raise an important ethical debate. Should we as humans be able to alter a genetic code? Should we be able to play the role of a higher power, ultimately changing our genetic molds? That's a question that you need to answer. I'm Namrata Pingle, back to you, Bella. Welcome to the son Saif al-Islam, once vowed to die fighting on Libyan soil. Now he's ready to face international justice to avoid meeting the same grisly end as his father. An official has come out to say that Saif al-Islam is ready to surrender himself to the International Criminal Court, who previously indicted him for war crimes. His surrender would mean another end to the 4-decade history of Gaddafi family rule in Libya. Stay informed by watching The Wire every Saturday on College Beat's Facebook page. Thank you for watching. I'm Namrata Pingle. The presidential nomination process is to begin in just a few weeks, so news that Herman Cain, one of the 7 candidates who has officially dropped out of the race, will surely change the game. Cain announced the news with his wife Gloria by his side on Saturday in Atlanta, insisting that he will now commence a new project called The Cain Solutions. He once again condemned the sexual harassment allegations, citing them as false and unproven. The Occupy movement. It started in New York in September and it has now expanded to the West Coast, reaching Los Angeles, Riverside and now even Long Beach.